Hello, I'm Melissa and welcome to Teacher Inspiration Station. So we've all been thrown into this very unique situation where we are forced to teach from home, and everywhere it's different. Every district is different. And when we were in teachers college or when we were getting our education degree, there was no course on what to do in case of a pandemic and you have to teach from home. So we're all just kind of doing our own thing. What's required in one district may not be required in another one, and all this stuff. So anyways, Google Meet is a platform that a lot of teachers are using, and there are pros and cons to doing live teaching, but this video is not really about that. But if you haven't done a Google Meet and you want to get started with it, at least get your feet wet with it, it can just be an opportunity for your kids to connect and say hi, then watch this video, because there are potential problems that could happen when you use Google Meet, and these tips and advice I'm about to share with you will at least reduce the problems that can happen. It may not eliminate it, but it will definitely reduce it. So if you're interested in learning more, keep watching. So tip number one is set up Google Meet from Google Classroom. If you're already using Google Classroom, great. To get the meeting going, all you have to do is go into settings, find the little Meet logo, click on visible to students. Just swipe that little thing that says visible to students. That way when your kids log onto Google Classroom, they can easily see the little link that they can use whenever they're going to go into a Google Meet. And the great thing about this is if they try and log on when you're not there, it will just show up an error message. So don't worry about your kids having a little party without you there. They can't log on unless you're already in the meeting. Tip number two, it's a good idea to download the Google Meet extension. And if you're teaching and you do not have the extension, it's gonna be pretty difficult for you. One of my friends who's a teacher, she didn't download the extension, and every time a kid talked, like their face would be flashing on the screen, and she said that she got dizzy. And you don't need to do all that. But if you download the grid, it's just like Brady Bunch style, where you see all your kids, and if they have a question or anything, and you can see if they're raising their hand, and it just makes it so much easier to manage a Google Meet session with the grid. But I would say do not encourage your students to download the grid, because you want to be front and center. You want them to be able to see what you're doing easily. Whenever you're projecting something, you want them to be able to see your screen clearly. So if they download the extension, you're going to be lost within the little boxes. So don't encourage them to do it. But as a teacher, yeah, you need to download that extension. Literally takes seconds to download, and it's totally worth it. Tip number three, I would say sign in about 5 minutes before your actual meeting is supposed to start. Let's say, for example, your meeting starts at 1 and you sign in right in at 1. There might be a couple kids who signed in a few seconds before and they got the error message, and so I would say 6 minutes before, they'll kind of slowly jump on in, and yeah, it's a lot easier that way. Tip number four, you're gonna learn this very quickly, that you need to teach your kids how to mute their mics. When one kid is on there, it's fine, 2 kids, 3, but after a while, all those kids coming in with their mics open and you can hear everything that's happening in their house, it gets really loud and really distracting. So you have to tell the kids, okay, I tell them to click on me. When that little bar comes up, find the microphone and press it. And when you click on it, it turns red and there's a little slash through it. That means we cannot hear you. And I explained to the kids, because one child asked, why do we have to mute our mics? And I said, because it gets really loud. So they have to understand the reason why they're doing it, and also how to do it and how to unmute themselves. And in the beginning, it's a bit of a learning curve, but they eventually get it. And yeah, they understand that they need to be mute unless they're being asked to speak or say something. Tip number 5. Just like in the classroom, you're gonna have to establish some rules. I mean, there's certain things that would happen in a Google Meet that you wouldn't typically think of, like the muting of the mics or walking around because some people are on their tablets and they'll just be around their place. Don't bring any stuffed toys with you. It's distracting and things like that. So as the problems come up, you're gonna have to address it. So just keep in mind that you're gonna have to establish some rules and etiquette. Tip number 6, you're gonna have to protect your screen while you project your screen. And what I mean by that is there is an option in Google Meet where you can show the class what is on your computer screen, but you got to be careful because sometimes, well, not sometimes, they're able to see what is on your screen. So be aware of emails that you don't want them to see. I had to delete my email icon because sometimes I get notifications that pop up and it has a subject in it and you just don't want them seeing it. Click off anything I don't want them to see. Even if it's not a window that I plan on showing, you just never know and it's live, so yeah. Tip number 7, make sure that when your meeting is over, that all kids have signed off before you sign off. I used to think that once I go, everyone else automatically goes, but that's not true. If you leave and you just have the Meet open, they're still able to converse and chat, and it's an unsupervised session. So make sure that all the kids leave and you also are able to remove them if you need to, but the kids know how to do it. I just show them, just press the little telephone and you'll be gone. And once everyone's out of the classroom, just like in real life, all the kids get dismissed before you leave. So once the kids are out of the Google Meet session, then you are the last person to log off. Tip number 8, speak slowly. Because this is not in person, the computers lag. Sometimes you completely cut out and they didn't hear anything. So you speak slowly and also check in with them. Do you guys understand? Did you hear what I said? Like checking in with them and speaking slowly helps you ensure that they got the information. But sometimes you can just be going off, especially if you're projecting your screen, you're just talking and talking and and then like 2 minutes later, like no one heard what you said. So just be aware that yes, there's lagging, you get cut off, and just take it easy. Tip number 10, have your camera facing a wall. If you're camera's facing a wall, you will not have any problems of people accidentally walking behind you, not properly dressed, and all this mishaps that could happen. And I know there are some teachers who, one of the reasons why they don't want to do a live session is because they don't not want to invite students into their homes, which I completely understand. And there's a lot of reasons why a teacher might not want to do live teaching. That's just one of them. But when you're facing a wall, you don't have to worry about that. Nobody sees my home, or like even like the plants here, this is more than what I show them. Like I show them literally like my door or a wall. So whatever's seen cannot be unseen, okay? You know, one kid's seeing certain things. So face a wall. Tip number 11, sometimes you gotta drop the script. You may have something big and exciting planned for your Google Meet and things just don't turn out. For me, I had a read aloud plan that I was projecting onto my computer screen. I had a scavenger hunt and I made little slides, but my computer was so slow and it could not handle it. So whenever I went to present something, I would wait a few seconds before it actually showed up on the screen. When I pressed the arrow to go to the next slide, I would have to wait a few seconds before. So I said, you know what, forget it, we're not doing that. And I ended up just showing them on my phone the slides I was gonna show. I just put it up to the camera, which is not ideal, but that's what I did. And I did no read aloud. Just like in teaching, things happen. Interruptions happen, you were expecting this and it didn't happen, you got to think on your toes, what are you going to do instead? It's just like that in the virtual world, so be aware of that. And tip number 12, keep things simple, especially in the beginning. Yes, there's all these great ideas out there of what you can do with live teaching, and you'll work up to that. I actually sat in on a Google Meet for a colleague of mine at school, and the things that they were doing, I was just like, oh, okay. Like there was a question projected on the screen and they had to type in an answer. It was some website and it was cool. Anyways, I knew that this teacher built them up for that. That's definitely not gonna be a first activity that you do with the kids. So what I did, and I got all of these ideas from a YouTuber, and I will link her here and I'll put her name here because I can't think of it now, but I got all my ideas from her from my first Google Meet. And basically I just asked the kids how they were feeling. I had that little chart. I asked different kids to share. So I said, okay, who's feeling a number one? Who would like to share? And I did that. Some kids wanted to share, some kids didn't. And then we went on a scavenger hunt. So find something that is red. And before the scavenger hunt, I told them I was gonna give them a minute to find the items, but to be very calm in finding the items. Don't run and get hurt. And so there's that, and also putting the things back as well could be an issue, so just make sure you address those. And the last one was bring your favorite toy, and then I had kids, I guess it was like a show and tell. Kids just shared what their favorite toy was and they loved that. That took 25 minutes. So I had a read aloud plan, which I wasn't gonna do anyway because of my whole slow computer situation, but even if that wasn't the issue, I just didn't have time to do that because I didn't want to have a long session. I just wanted it to be a half an hour. And then I said, okay, everyone, you can unmute your mics and say bye. It was so cute. They're like, bye, everyone, bye, bye. And they were so sweet, because even some of those kids who, you know, can be a bit of a challenge and keep you on your toes, they were just so sweet and just so happy to see each other. And you know what I mean? Like, it was nice. So I love seeing each and every one of my students. And that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed my video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Thumb up my video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.